The 10-minute drill.
This is a big one.
Covered by Universal Roof and Contracting. The difference is Universal.
On 1010XL.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Hit it.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is 7:20. It's the Monday Morning Quarterback, DivorceMenOnly.com. We're going to see what's going on around the world of sports with what we call the 10-minute drill. So hit some of the stuff that maybe we haven't hit yet or advance some of the stuff that we have. I would think that this will be a one and done as to what has been perpetrated here on the program today, but Dan Hicken somehow has managed to wrangle a day off for, are you ready? Load management.
Load management day.
Seriously, dude? Sports talk radio, 3 hours a day, load management?
He's on the cusp of burnout.
Yeah. I'm curious. So, again, I said this earlier. It's kind of like when LeBron took that load management, and then we saw photos of him at 2 in the morning cutting some track over at some studio. You know, Dan Hicken, I'm pretty sure on social media posting from Temptation Island this weekend or the Bermuda Triangle or somewhere. So
I believe he's in Bruce Dickinson's studio in Honolulu.
I mean, yeah, that is load management. You're right. But this guy's unreal. Last week we criticized load management and because the fans don't get to see the stars. And here he is, a star himself, and he takes a load management day. Unreal.
Unreal.
I don't know if management's aware of this, but I'll root for Dan through this turmoil.
Don't even know him anymore.
Monday Morning Quarterback, DivorceMenOnly.com. Let's hit the 10-minute drill, gang.
Yeah, and stay tuned. At the end of the 10-minute drill, one lucky Guggen will go home with a lunch for two from Tropical Smoothie Cafe. It's Monday Madness over at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Stop by for a Duval Delight smoothie. Tropical Smoothie Cafe is the official smoothie of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
All right, let's do this.
Over the weekend, obviously a lot of football happening, but yesterday, you pointed out kind of a weird tip time for Florida and Florida State basketball. Probably if you're a Florida basketball fan, you're happy for the Sunday 1 o'clock tip. Maybe less people were watching as they dropped their sixth straight to Florida State. Level of concern after that one.
Yeah, no, it's early. I've learned my lesson on level of concern and overbearing hype, so I've already taken my medicine today. Don't listen to Billy Big Mouth here when it comes to his expert basketball genius. I blew that Florida game, and I've been doing this long enough that I should know better than to get ahead of myself based on one game either way. And in this case, the elements conspired with Florida opening with a win and showing off their new talent, again, against an overmatched opponent, though, in UNF, while Florida State went on the road and laid an egg and lost to a Pitt team that only won 3 ACC games the last 2 years combined. And the combination of that win and that loss made me think that, FSU's winning streak in the series was going to be over and done with, and Florida was going to have a Final Four team from start to finish. Well, that's obviously not the case. FSU's far from done. They pushed around and bullied the Gators yesterday at the O-Dome. And by the way, why you don't play the game of Sunday at 1 was proven out yesterday. That was, quote, a sellout, bro. And did you see all the empty seats in the O-Dome? It may have been a sellout, but the crowd didn't sell out and get there. It was a lot of empties for FSU's big win and a nice win for the Noles, and give them credit. They've been to the postseason, I believe, now 3 years in a row. They made relatively deep runs the last 2 years to an 8 and a 16. And while there is kind of a, turning over the roster going on in Tallahassee, it's pretty clear that they're going to bang and bully and be a part of the college basketball story this year. So I got nothing to say but hats off to FSU. But I will say that, no, I'm not now extremely worried about Florida and think they're not going to be any good. I stand by the talent, but to expect that young talent to show itself correctly each time out, probably a little much to ask.
Jeff, Saturday, LSU, a victory over Alabama. I believe it was 8 straight that they lost to the Tide before winning yesterday. Obviously, a overwhelming number 1 in the AP poll. You expect they'll be number 1 as well when the college football playoff poll comes out, but who knows? They weren't last week. Just how much better than their peers are LSU, or are they?
No, I think they are. I mean, their peers being the SEC, they haven't played outside of that other than Texas, who they went. What's amazing about LSU is this complete transformation on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, it is just, look at what Joe Burrow did last year against Florida and Alabama and Auburn, and then look what he did this year against those same teams. We got to give Joe Brady a lot of credit. He came over as offensive coordinator from the New Orleans Saints, and Eddie Orgeron is an easy guy to root for, isn't he? Gosh, got to love that guy, man. And they are so proud of their university and their state. I mean, that was drilled into them. You could tell. This is more than for the SEC West. This is Louisiana State University against the University of Alabama. And doggone it, after 8 straight years of them beating us, we're going to show what the Louisiana brings to the table. And they played that up, and they dominated Alabama. I mean, they did. I know Bama was good enough to counterpunch and stay in the game, but LSU took a 33-13 lead, and there was nothing fluky about it. And Joe Burrow is going to win the Heisman, and he should. And LSU and Ohio State are going to play in the national championship game. They're the 2 best teams, at least so far from what we've seen, it looks like by a mile. Now, look, Ohio State has a little bit of what Alabama's going through. They haven't played a representative schedule. So, Bama was cruising along too until LSU came to town. But the ripples now and the controversy will begin because inevitably I think Alabama's going to snatch that 4th playoff spot. And it's going to leave hurt feelings and some arguments from, especially if they're just 1-loss conference champions in Oklahoma and Oregon or Utah, whoever wins that game.
Jeff, obviously we're just a little past midway point in the NFL season, but with yesterday's second perfect passer rating, did Lamar Jackson slide into the driver's seat and grab the wheel for the MVP race?
Yeah, I was going to get into that. I still will a little bit later today. But, yeah, I think he did. Yeah, I think he absolutely did. Lamar Jackson yesterday was just, okay, that was fun. Let's put up some stats. But we should have probably started ringing the MVP bell even before then. Now, look, Russell Wilson's played great. He's got 22 touchdowns and 1 pick. He could go win tonight at San Francisco and give them their first loss, and it'll be the equivalent of what Lamar Jackson did to the New England Patriots, although Lamar did get him at home. But Lamar Jackson really started this little MVP showcase, with back-to-back wins against Seattle and New England, 2 of the best teams in the NFL. So yesterday's, statistical marvel and his continued piling up of numbers, and the Ravens becoming that team that's going to be a lot better record-wise than people predicted. People always look, when you're a voter, which means for the MVP, means you cover the NFL. It means inevitably at some time in the preseason, you made your NFL predictions. And it makes you feel better if you predicted the Ravens to be 7-9. It makes you feel better to give Lamar Jackson the MVP because, quote, who knew he was going to be the MVP, or I wouldn't have had him 7-9. So I think that'll play in a little bit. So there's part of what happened over the weekend. We got a lot more coming your way here today on a Monday morning quarterback, divorcepinonly.com. We've pushed up a breakfast with Baselli an hour, so that's coming up next when we return. Talk to the big fella about the Jaguars regrouping here after the bye week, the challenge that awaits them here the next couple of weeks, and some other storylines from around the National Football League. You are immersed in the drill on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Right now, I'll take caller number 2, 641-1010. Going to take home that lunch for 2 from Tropical Smoothie Cafe, the official smoothie of the Jacksonville Jaguars.